Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of our RPG series. In this episode, we're going to start implementing some health systems for our combat. So in this one, we're going to be doing the damage system for the enemy. So we implement the health system, we implement some health bar, a very cool health bar that I think you guys will like. Then we'll do some damage. And then, yeah, that will be it for this episode. Alright, without further ado, let's get into Unity. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is set up our enemy character to be able to take damage. So we're going to come right here, this guy right here. And then we're going to, what we're trying to do right now is to have the health bar appear right above him. Okay, so we want our enemies to have health bars right above them. So we're going to come to the dummy. And then right on the dummy here, we're going to create an empty object. We'll call this health system. Then in the health system, we're going to right click again, create a UI canvas, and then we'll call this health canvas. All right, then here on the left, we've got screen space overlay. We're going to change this to world space. Going to change this to world space. We're going to remove the canvas scaler. We don't need that, and the ray caster, because we're not going to be ray casting on our health bar. We're not going to be ray casting on it. So we just want the canvas with world space. You can close that. Now inside the health canvas, you create a UI component of type image. Now at this point, our UI component isn't showing up. So let's see here. You can see that that's where, so let's just zero out the canvas to bring it exactly there. Okay, so our health system, which is at the foot of our player, we can, so don't click on the health canvas, don't click on the image, click on the health system game object, drag it up to the head somewhere there, get the canvas, and then we can leave it like that. And yeah, everything is right there at the top of the head. So now we're going to come to our health system, our health canvas here. Width, it's 1920 1080. Let's set it to let's see, 240, and then 50, or rather 50 on the height, 240 there. Let me see. Okay, let's just scale down the image itself. So let's take that back to 1920 1080. Then come to our image where it says height 100, say 50 height, say 100 width. Oh nope, let's just scale it down, down, down again. We'll scale it like that, bring it like that, like that. So now we'll get our health system, then drag it up somewhere there like that. That looks about right. That looks about right. We'll come to our image and then we're going to rename it. So F2 to rename it. Then we'll say health bar. Okay, so that will be our health bar. And then on the image side, this side, we're going to change something. we are going to say, let's go with input field. So you change the source image to input field, which will unlock this image type drop down here. So we'll click on it and say we want it to be field, and then where it said fill method, you say horizontal, then from fill origin, so that's left to right, so that when you drag it down like that, you can see what is happening. When you drag it, you can see that. We'll use a texture so that we do not have it being this roundish. We'll use a texture, because let me see if I, yeah. Oh boy, let me get it back up. I didn't mean to press that. Oh boy, I didn't mean to press that. This is where it was. All right, so we can reduce it and increase it like that. So we're going to use a texture in the next episode, so that we just apply a texture, but the sliding will be the same. It will just be a plain white texture. We do not want any colored textures, because we're going to be using a gradient on this guy. So once we are done with that, we've set up the health bar there. The next thing that we're going to do is to come here in our assets, create a new folder, which we're going to call characters. So NPCs and all the other types of characters will be going in there. And inside our characters folder, we're going to create a new folder called enemies. Inside our enemies folder, we're going to create another folder called scripts. So this is the scripts that are to do with our enemies. And then inside of that, we're going to now create, let's create one more folder and call it the health system for our enemies. And then inside of that, we're going to now create two scripts. So the first script is going to be called the health bar, and the second script is going to be called, if we can, come on, let it, okay, we're going to call the second script the health system. Okay, so now here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up the health system in Visual Studio. It's going to be a very simple script. We just want to be able to get how much health this character has and stuff like that. So the first thing we're going to have is a public float, because we're going to be using these floats in a lot of places. So we're going to say public float max health. So why we're making it public is so that we can, if you want enemies to have different levels of health, you can just set it up so that they all do not have 100. We'll go with 100 for now. Then we'll say public health, public float current health. So even for it to initialize it at 100. Okay, so max health and current health when the game is starting should be the same. Then we're now going to say serialize field, serialize field. We're going to say health bar, the script that we just created, health bar. Okay, so we're going to say serialize field health bar, because we need to manipulate the health bar. So serialize field health bar. Then, so let's now say, let me put a comment here and say max health must be adjusted to game requirements. So you can all just play with that value the way you want and have it work the way you want it to work. So if you want 500 for health, go with 500 for health. If you want 1,000 health points, go with 1,000 health points. You don't have to be 100. Okay, now once the health bar is done, we'll now say start. Then we're going to say current health when we start is equal to max health. Always remember that the current health should always be equal to max health. So if we set our current health to our max health to 500, current health at the start should be 500, but we can't go with 100 because I don't have the time to wait for us to do damage to 500 health points. But by all means, make sure you turn this thing into your own thing. So go with it. So in the start, like I said, we're initializing current health to max health. Then once that is done, if I can get my cursor right, we're going to create a function. So this function is going to be public void take damage. So take damage or any damage. So if we'll use take damage, then we're going to give it a float. It's going to need a float damage. Okay, so public void take damage float damage. This is the one that's going to be applying the damage to our health system here. And then we're going to have one more function, which is public. It's going to be called in another script. Float, it's going to return a float. Get current health percent. So we want to get our current health percent and pass it to our bar. Remember that our bar is just being referenced here. Our bar is its own script, so we want to pass this float that when the damage happens to that bar script, so that the bar is updated and then we can see that particular thing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to return current health divided by max health, because the current health divided by max health means that's the amount of health we have left. Okay, that's it. That's all this function is. Now for the take damage one, it's a bit more interesting. We're going to say current health minus equal damage, and then we're going to say if current health is less than 0, then we're going to say current health is equals to 0, and we can debug .log. We can debug.log and say enemy, we can say enemy, actually let's say, because our health system is going to sit on our enemy, so let's say this dot game object dot name. Okay, then we're going to say plus has died. That's it, just that. All right, that's it for our health system. It's a very simple health system that we can keep adding on to. So let's go back to Unity. We're going to go to our dummy, and then on our dummy we're going to put our health system. All right, right on our dummy. Okay, then the health bar is going to come on our canvas right there. So come over here, drop our health bar canvas over there. Let's open up the health bar script. It's a little bit complicated, but pretty easy. So let me just look at my notes here. Health bar. Okay, so we're going to now say we're going to have a public transform, because you see where I want it to be transformed. Then we'll say owner. Okay, owner. So this is the owner of this health bar. So we'll say owner of this health bar, and then we're going to say public float. Okay, slide speed. So what we're going for here is instead of it just cutting through when we do damage, it should slide to the next to the current health. It should always slide to it rather than it looking janky. We want it to be very smooth. Then we're going to now have our public image. Remember, we created an image, so you can say using Unity engine.ui public image. Then we'll say health bar fill, because we want it to, it's the fill. Well, that's what we're going to be using as a fill. Then we're going to now say private gradient. We're going to create a gradient for our health bar, and we'll call that gradient. Okay, then we're going to say we've got some floats that we need, some 3 floats, so we'll make a private float start fill amount, and we'll say private float the target fill amount, then we're going to say private float fill amount velocity. You see how all these will come together. Just to write them down. Then we're going to say start. In our start, we're going to say gradient. So our gradient, oh my goodness, can I type? Gradient is going to be equal to health bar fill dot fill amount. Then we're going to say greater than or equal to, okay, 1F. So what we're saying is if the fill amount is equals to 1F, like 1, we're going to create, we're going to call the function that we haven't written yet, create gradient. We're going to write that function, and then else it's going to be null. Okay, so if our fill amount is greater than or equal to 1, create a gradient, else it's going to be null. Then we're going to say if owner is not equal to null. If there is an owner, then we'll say the start fill amount is equal to a health bar dot fill amount, and then the target fill amount is equal to the start fill amount. That's it. Else we're going to just say game object, so set active for, so the game object of our health bar shouldn't be active if the target or the owner is null. Now let's come down to the update. We do need an update after all, so let's say update. We'll come back to it. Let's come down again, and then let's say private gradient. So this function is going to return a gradient. We'll say create gradient. Remember, we called it up there, create gradient. And then what are we going to do in this function? This will say gradient, then we'll say new gradient, is equal to new gradient. Then we're going to say gradient color key array. It's going to be an array. We're going to say color keys. Let's call it color keys, and then it's going to be equals to new gradient color key, and we'll give it an array of 3. So we want it to be 3, an array that is of 3. We don't want it to be very many colors. So what we want is a red color for when it's very low health, an orange color for when it's mid health, and a green color for when the health is full. So we'll say color keys at index 0 dot color is going to be equal to color.red, and then color keys again at index 0 again dot time is going to be equal to 0f, and then we'll say color keys again dot color dot at 1. It's not going to be green. Let's make it can I make it orange? Is there orange here? It doesn't seem like there's orange. All right, let's go with color dot yellow. If you wanted, you could create your own color by using the hexadecimal or the RGB, but we're not going to do that. And then color keys dot time at 1 is going to be 0.5 f, so halfway. And then color keys index 2 dot color is equal to color dot green, and then we're going to say color keys index 2 dot time is going to be 1. So when it's at full, it's green. Then we're going to say gradient alpha key array. We're going to call this alpha keys is equals to new gradient, and it's just going to be 1 this time, not 3, just the 1. And we're going to say alpha keys index 0 dot alpha is going to be equals to 1, and alpha keys index 0 dot, you guessed it, time is going to be also equal to 1. Then we're going to go down. Then we're going to say new gradient, the one that we created up there, the variable dot set keys. Okay, so what keys are we setting in here? We're going to set our color keys and our alpha keys, and then once we're done, we're going to return our new gradient, and that new gradient is the one that we're going to pass here. Okay, but we've got an issue up here. What issue do we have up here? All right, right here. We forgot to add our, that. And that's it. So we're gonna just put this in a hashtag region and say create health gradient, and then right below it we're going to say hashtag and region. We can close the create health gradient. Then inside of our void update, we're going to say if owner is not null. What are we going to do if owner is not null? We're going to put a comment, and then we're going to say update the health bar value, okay, or health bar or fill amount, whichever you feel like using. So health bar value or fill amount. And then how are we going to do that? We're going to say float HP for health points is going to be equal to, then the owner dot, now inside the owner we're going to get a component. What component are we going to get? You remember the component that we're going to get is the health system. All right, since the health system is seated on the player, on the owner, then dot, we're going to get current health percentage. I think you remember we wrote that function in the health system, so it will give us the health percentage or our health points. Then we're going to say target fill amount is equal to, we're going to say math f dot lerp, then we're gonna say start fill amount, target fill amount. Okay, so it's going to be start fill amount percentage, not the target fill amount, so the health percentage. And then we're going to also say slide speed, and then we're going to multiply this by time dot delta time. And then we're going to go down and say start fill amount, because at this point what we've done here is that we've given the target fill amount to be equal to our health points that's coming back. So if damage has been done, that health point will be the damaged health point. So if you had 100 and you get 10 damage, the health point that will come back here will be 90. So at this point we've told it, okay, the target fill amount that we want you to go to is 90. But then once we've done that, we need to say the start fill amount is no longer, remember up here we said start fill amount is equals to health bar dot fill amount. So the health bar dot fill amount when you start the game is going to be at 1, at full. So when we say start fill amount at this point is no longer at full, instead we're going to say it's now at target fill amount. So remember this part, we said target fill amount is equal to start fill amount, but now at this point, since target fill amount has been modified, our start fill amount is going to come to the target fill amount. That way when you do damage again, it will start from this, from the target fill amount from this guy. Okay, then we're going to say health bar dot fill amount is going to be equal to, we need it to be, remember I said we want it to be a smooth kind of animation. We're going to say smooth damp, and then we're going to open and close parentheses. Then we're going to say health bar dot fill amount. Okay, then we're going to say target fill amount is where we're trying to go to, and then we're going to say ref, like that. Then we're going to say fill amount velocity. Then we're going to give it some kind of movement that we need. If you see here, it's looking for the max speed, and then we're going to tell it, okay, your max speed is going to be 0.5 f. So like we could even make it 0.2 f. Let's go actually with 0.2 f, slightly slower. Then notes again. Okay, then we're almost done with this function. It's pretty simple. We're going to come down and say if gradient, what was our gradient variable? If gradient is not equal to null, then we're going to say health bar fill dot color is going to be equal to gradient dot evaluate. Oh my goodness. Evaluate and then we're going to give you the target fill amount. So it will decide which color to give based on the target fill amount. So now from the first if, not the second one, the first if, we're going to say else if owner is null. We also say game object dot set active to false. So once the target has been defeated, we can disable the health bar. So once the target has been defeated, we can set owner to null, and then we can disable the health bar as well. But we're not going to do that in this episode. That will be for the next episode. But that's why we have this here, so that once we defeat him, we'll set the owner to false, and then we'll be able to disable it that way. So let's come here, come to our health canvas. It's asking us for our health bar fill. We're gonna give it that, and it's asking us for our owner. So the owner is where the health system is sitting. So in this case, our dummy. So we're going to go to the health canvas, move our dummy to the owner like that. Okay, that's the first part is done. And if we hit play, let me just play maximized. If we hit play now, what you will notice is that our health bar is fully green on our player or on our enemy. Nice. Nice. So we'll have a texture so that we have it more squarish. I want a very square health bar, but you can go with whatever you feel like. But for right now, great. Let's now do some damage, right? Let's do some damage. Okay. How many minutes have I been recording for? 32. All right, let's go and do some damage. We're going to go to the MC, main character, the player. In fact, let's not even waste time like that. Let's go to our weapon here. So let's see this guy. To our sword here. And then on this side, we're going to add a box collider. Right, like that. Then we're going to, you see where it says edit collider, we're going to edit the collider. Then we're going to bring this part down to there. We're going to drag this point inward there. We're going to drag this other one inward there. Okay, so that's fine like that. Then we're going to check the is trigger on our box collider. Then we're going to go back to assets, because this is now a player script that we need. So we're going to go to player combat system, and then we're going to come here and say C# script, and then we're going to say deal damage. Okay, now for the deal damage script, we'll go to our sword where the box collider is, and we'll put that there. We'll open up the deal damage script. Just open up a note here so that we don't waste a lot of time. Where is my deal damage script? So our deal damage script is also going to be very short and easy. We'll take out the comment at the top, and then we're going to put some serialized fields. So serialized field, we want the weapon type. Remember our weapon type that we created? We'll call that weapon type the weapon type scriptable object. Why do we want it to contain some damage for the weapon? You remember that our weapons in the weapon type scriptable object, we gave them certain damage for each weapon. We're also going to need a serialized field for our player combat. If you remember, our player combat is done, that has got our animations, and also our animations have got certain damage. So we want all the damage that we can get from everywhere where we've set some damage that the player can inflict. And then we've got the final one, serialized field float. So we're going to use float because we do not want to do the whole division of integer to float. Float damage. And then, okay, we're going to have the last one, which is a private health system. All right. So now we're going to come to the weapon type and say, in the start, we're going to say weapon type is equal to get component. Since it's sitting on the same object as the weapon type, so each weapon is going to have the weapon type script and its script to deal damage. So we're going to have weapon type to deal damage, and then we don't need the update function. What we actually need is an on trigger, enter. Since we've put a box collider there, and have we checked it to be trigger? Yes, we have. We will say on trigger, enter. Then we're going to say if the other game object that we're colliding with or triggering with dot game object dot tag is equal to, so we want to just do this when it's an enemy. Then we are going to say, so we're going to say deal damage. So under here we're going to say if weapon type dot weapon obj dot weapon type, okay, the enumeration is equal to weapon type dot sword. Since we're dealing with sword damage right now, then we're going to come here and say damage is going to be equal to weapon type dot damage, weapon type dot weapon obj dot damage, weapon damage, yes. Then we're going to say plus the combat dot do we put the damage in here? Did we put the attack damage? Let me see. Did we put the attack damage? Because I cannot find it. Okay, here's how we're going to do it. I've thought about it. Let's go into the combat script, and then inside the combat script, let's come. So to go to the combat script the way I did, just click on it and press F12. It will navigate to that script. So let's come here and say public float attack damage, and then what we're going to do is inside this attack damage, so inside of this attack, where we're saying that we are going to say attack damage is going to be equal to combo sequence at current attack index dot damage, and we'll do that even for the else statement, else that play attack animation. Then we're going to do it right there. We're going to do it in those two places. So we'll put it here and put it there. So we're getting the damage from our attack sequence. So when we go back to our deal damage script, we'll say combat system dot attack damage, because the attack damage will always be passed there correctly. Then once that is done, we're going to now say health system is going to be equal to other dot get component dot game object dot get component health system, and then we're going to say health system dot take damage, and we'll pass in our damage. and that'll be it. And that'll be it. So you can put a debug.log here to see it work, but that'll be it. If you've written it like that, our damage should be able to work. So if we go back to Unity, we come to the player, actually to the sword, not the player. It's got the weapon type, it's getting it right here, but what it's not getting is the player combat, and I think that is on the player object. And you can see the player combat is there. Damage, just leave it as 0 because we're going to be dynamically calculating that. So now if we hit play, okay, then we target that guy, we equip our sword like that, we move closer, we slice, we're not doing any damage. Why aren't we doing any damage? Okay, we've got a situation where our character keeps equipping the weapon. So let's see, where aren't we doing any damage? Let's see, let's hit play again. Ah, my bad. The reason why we're not doing any damage, if we come to the dummy, okay, we have set it up as an enemy. Okay, so that is fine. Let's play focused, and so that we see what's happening exactly. Why aren't we getting any damage? So we have that. When we go to our sword already has that. When we equip it, and then we target this guy. Something is not working rightly here. We've got to make it work right. In the next episode, we might do some polishing up so that we get this to work better. This combat is not feeling very smooth. Okay, so you can see there that our damage is at 17 always. So we are applying damage, but we are not really getting a visual. Oh, there we go. There we go. You can see it. It was just taking some time to slide there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to work on whatever that is, but you could see our damage there. Let's just play maximized again. I might have to make the collision a bit bigger, but you could see our damage there. So let's equip, and let's come here, slice. You can see it move down. There we go. There we go. There we go. And then you can see there at the bottom left, or in our console, dummy has died. So that's the damage that we are applying. In the next episode, before we go to creating more complex, making our combat system a bit more complex and improving it some more, we're going to just fix up a few things to make it much more responsive, to avoid the whole idea of the player getting stuck in certain animations and all that. Alright, so if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like, comment down below if you're enjoying this series, or just leave a comment. It will help the video out with the algorithm. Leave a like, and if you're new, consider subscribing. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.